Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Joy Asanya Live this beautiful, beautiful Workers' Day, as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to appreciate the contributions that workers, the entire workforce, be it in the private or public sector, bring to society and nation building. Well, today it's Wednesday, and as you would already know, we talk about Eduvention, and today we'll be focusing on workers and Eduvention practices before and after work. When you get to learn about this Eduvention concept that we dealt with last week, how would it apply to workers, and how would it get workers having that wonderful experiences that will not make them feel a bit bad or affect their mental health? There's so much to discuss on today's edition, so stay tuned as we go for this short break. When we return, I would introduce our guests, who, as you already know, when we talk about this Eduvention segment every week, you already know who he is, but I'll unveil him after the short break. Welcome back from that. Dr. James Komolafe, Chief Consultant, SAPA Resources, is our guest this evening, and he will be talking about Workers' Day, Eduvention practice for workers before and after work. Thank you so much, as always, for being part of the program.
Wow, great to be here, and happy Workers' Day, Joy. And I hope you are eduventionally compliant.
Eduventionally compliant. I mean, after last week, I tried my best.
That's good. So we say hi to all our workers out there. And you see, it's good to observe a day like this. And more importantly, to know that Eduvention is critical in all that you do as a worker. Either a worker with the government, or a worker, self-employed, or a worker, you have societal engagement, or a worker at any rate, you need to imbibe the culture of Eduvention. And if there is any day to be able to sit down and reflect on Eduvention, it is a day like this,
right,
where you are at home, away from the normal work, although many workers, they could be away from office, but the office in the brain and in the mind follows them home and everywhere, and that is against the practice of Eduvention. So what is Eduvention? By way of reiteration, Eduvention is a mixture of education with intervention. So what do you know? How do you apply what you know in order to create the much needed solution and intervention in your space? It's all about Eduvention. These are the days people go to school, they have all kinds of retinue of certificate, training program when you start working, and you see the craze for certification now. Oh, I need this certificate, I need that certificate. But beyond the avalanche and trench of these certificates, where is the impact? Is there any implement or complement that look at the impact assessment to be able to say, hey, I have studied so wide and large on this critical area. How well has it impacted my life, impacted my desk, and impacted the society? What value can be driven from there? So the practice of Eduvention for workers says, one, begin from yourself. What do you know? Where are you competent? Where is your capacity? And where is the character undertone to it? It's a triangle. You are competent, you develop capacity, and then character also comes out of it.
Right.
When you have these three, Joy, you are good to go eduventionally.
Eduventionally.
So
but let's be more specific about the worker.
the workers,
The
yes.
workers, because it seems like, I don't know if it's an African thing, a Nigerian thing, or it's global, but we don't seem satisfied. You always hear an average worker tell you, well, I am just here for the meantime. I'm hoping there's going to be something better. Let's talk about that job satisfaction. Is it pointing to something deeper?
Job satisfaction, according to Eduvention, is a relative term that has to do with you competing with no any other person but you. And what do you look at? You turn the searchlight inward to see your value construct, to see your potential, to see where your passion is delving towards, and to see how well you've been able to work on yourself in order to release some certain creativity, solve problems, and fix in wherever it matters. And you see, for every worker out there, especially in the public fora, civil servants especially, you see, no matter the agitation for wage increase, relative income hypothesis will always cash in and catch up with every worker. Because what does it say? It says as much as you earn higher income, your needs to
Would increase
over time. So what do? The better thing to do, the best thing to do by way of Eduvention is to look at other areas by which you can generate some other streams of income without what do we call it now? Conflict of interest with your regular job if you are a civil servant. There are things that are allowed and permissible even while you are a public servant that you can do. Issues like agricultural stuff, and then anything you do outside of your work bracket, that's your own time. And there's a huge lot you can do so that at the end of the day, your salary becomes an incentive and a motivation, not the thing you wait on to say, well, whether I work or I don't work, at the end of the month, I'm waiting for something. That is anti-Eduvention. So as a civil servant, as a worker out there, your motivation should not be about what you get, but what you give out there. Looking at you and what you have within, for which you have to push out by way of value creation, which is the mother of creativity. And from creativity, you begin to engage in productive essence and help better the lot of everybody in society. And that is where contribution becomes meaningful and the bottom line for every worker.
Now let's talk about the African setting. It seems like there's always that craze. You started with talking about that craze for more, for certificates,
Yes, which is good.
Which is good.
There's nothing wrong about it. But what we are saying is, how well have you been able to translate this paper certification into live projects and programs? In fact, Joe, let me tell you, there was a time in Cyber Resources Intervention Hub where we told the enterprising public and everybody to bring their certificates for conversion.
For conversion? What would you convert it to?
We'll convert it to certificates.
Certificate?
Yes.
Where you're searching?
Yes. What to do is reconciliation. You bring your paper qualification. Oh, I've got BSc Economics. I've got BA Linguistics and all of that. We'll bring the paper side by side with your potentials and to look for possible way of marriage and harmony. By the time we'll bring all of the facts out on table, we'll do reconciliation, behavioral reconciliation. And at the end of the day, we'll say, hey, Joy, although these are your paper certification, but look at your passion, look at your potentials, and look at your proficiency. So that your paper certification may not even be able to satisfy your crave. So what do? Your paper certification becomes a bottom line for you, a stepping stone Because there are places you will get to, they will say, hey, are you a graduate? Hey, do you have paper to back up what you say you can do? And all of that. So in such doing will help you, brand you, to find your niche and to begin to see what you can do with your best self, so that your best version can come out irrespective of the certificate that you have. And that is why the culture of Eduvention has played so much role in the people around me, especially me and my children. All their courses, whatever they study, was eduventionally designed. It was woven in tandem with who they are, their personal content, their composition and their characteristics, their potentials and their passion, so that they don't just go to school and come out with a certificate looking for jobs. No, they go to school in order to weave out the school in their inside, so that they can create job, they can become not only employable but creators of job.
Exactly.
So Eduvention says, instead of just craving for the white collar job until the collar of your shirt begins to turn black, that is white, look at what you can do, discover yourself, develop yourself, and deploy your service. And in so doing, instead of just craving for employment, you are doing deployment as against employment. Employment is good, at least in the short run. In the meantime, so as to be used to it, you have experience and all of that. Do you know I was in civil service before? But I had to resign because I discovered that I had a huge lot to do for my world. And the school on my inside had to come out for so many people to leave. So I bolted out in order to stand and to create so many things. And today I'm happy for it.
And that's the question I wanted to ask. A lot of us in the craze to just have a job for our living wage, whatever would just bring food to the table.
Even when it doesn't take you home.
Even when it doesn't take you home, yes.
And take home.
You know, we find ourselves just engaging in these jobs that we do not resonate with from inside. Like
I'm happy you call it jobs, not work.
Right.
Because you can be fixed into jobs and not doing your work.
So
stranded within, occupied without.
So with the unemployment rate, I know a lot of our listeners will be asking, I mean, there's an unemployment rate. I studied human anatomy, I studied engineering, but as it is, anything that comes, I would do. What would be your suggestion?
There are engineers in town driving Uber, Okada.
Exactly. So what would your suggestion be for some people who feel that at the moment, let's just have a job?
Well, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I've had good jobs before that I had to resign on my own.
Jobs that you call good because of the pay?
Because of the pay.
The pay would have been really
right
good.
From primary school, secondary school from 5 and all of that, we were the forms in those days. I had dreamt that I would be a banker. In fact, I started wearing bow tie as a primary school to show you that I was going to become a banker. And you know, at the end of the day, I became one. Until I had to bank myself out in order to find my leverage in life. So on a very pivotal note, in the very short while, just to have a taste of what it could be, I'm not regretting walking the journey so far.
Right.
It has only showed me how to broaden my learning curve and to see what is good, what is befitting, and what is great, and what could pull out the best version of myself. And you say, one of the fears people must overcome is the fear of insecurity. Hey, how will I do? Hey, house rent, children's school fee. How do we feed? How do we do that?
So how do you overcome it? Because indeed, these are things in your face.
That's staring you to
they're staring at you.
You say, you need a definite focus. Focus is critical. Attention is fundamental.
Say that again.
Focus is critical. Attention is fundamental. If you don't have anywhere to go, joy, every road leads there. But where you are cocksure of where you are going and how to set out, you catch fun. I remember in those days when I was in the banking sector, and I wrote my own resignation when so many youth like me were
trying to get in.
In those days, even if you read BA Snake, you run down to Lagos because there's one merchant bank waiting to just take you hands on. There's one commercial bank there who is ready to pay you. So when I got my own degree too, I ran
just
to
like
Lagos.
Everyone, right?
Just like everyone. There was no street I didn't cook. Narrow street, broad street, everywhere. I combed them. Nothing. Until eventually I got a bank job. And my ambition was fulfilled. And so there's a world of difference, Joy, between ambition and vision.
Okay.
Your ambition is just an emotional decision you take based on realities, on grand conditions around you. But your vision is that inner crave that comes out of passionate appeal and conviction that this is who I am meant to be, this is where my life is, and you give it a very forceful attention. And attention is attraction. It's a law. Wherever your energy goes, your attention goes, there your energy flows. So very vital. How did I navigate? I simply looked at what was inside me and what I was going through on the outside. And I made up my mind. You see, the journey of life and to excellence is not a child's play. It is not a bed of roses. You must make up your mind to know what you are doing and what you are going to do and how to do it and get it done. There are places where slow and steady wins the race, and there are places it becomes an anathema. You don't slow. You just hit
keep
it
going.
And keep going, knowing that for sure your conviction one day will override your condition. So don't allow conditions around. So, and that's why we say, please try and place your hand on so many things that you just fall in love with. Now, people call me doctor, and I am, by God's grace. But do you know what? My background was economics. But today I treat medical doctors. I sit in the office of psychotherapists. I have retainership in hospitals. I handle addiction, depression, and the rest of it. Why? Because you see, life journey at times has a way of just piloting and programming you to find your place of best fit. And that is why we are telling parents, these are not the days you say, hey, in this Komolafe's family, I need a medical doctor, I need an engineer, I need a lawyer. And you call all your children and say, John,
you will be this.
The way you speak, you sound like a lawyer. Be the family lawyer. Asana, the way you speak, you look like a nurse. In fact, look at the way you are standing. You have compassion for people. That's hogwash. Eduvention says, profile this child and see what are his components and characteristics, his personality, the passion, and the potential, and then weave it out of him or her and place it in his hand as a baton and let him run on his own line. At the end of the day, he's going to arrive at the other side happy, catching fun, and not fight.
Because it is the innate qualities he brought that he's beginning to blossom in.
Blossoming and featuring. And you see, monetary incentive, just making money first, will not be the issue. It will be how to make contribution out there. So for Workers' Day, 3 things must preoccupy your mind. 1, who am I as a person? You must define your concept. Who am I? Who am I? My mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, even my spiritual health. I need to put them in perspective, because when you don't know yourself, other people will define you. Circumstances around you,
define
as
you.
we have it, will define you. And when they define you, of course, your guess is good as mine. They will defile you and distract you from your original path. So know yourself.
Man, know thyself.
Know thyself. Very critical. Don't be a jack of all trade and
Master of none.
And you keep pressing button here and there. You'll be tired. We are not automobiles that you just press buttons and then you power drive. No.
Okay.
Your will and everything. So the first key is your person. Who am I? And then the second key is your potential. What do I have? When you join your person to your potential, what do I have? You begin to look at your skills. You begin to look at your paper qualification. You begin to look at your talents, your gifts, your competencies. You begin to look at your innate abilities. You begin to look at what to do to hone your area of strength for maximum use. And where these two harmonize, of course, it will lead to what can I do, which is production.
Production.
So your personality, your potential will deliver your protection. Of course, your protection and your production. You become productive. And when you are productive, you produce goods and services.
Well, it's good. It's a good time to go for a short break because when we return, we'll get into this productivity and why we do not see it
manifesting right before us.
Exactly. So we'll be right back. This is still Eduvention that we are discussing this time, talking about the practice before and after work for workers. Happy Workers' Day. We'll be right back to conclude that conversation.
We are expecting government policies to bring issues that will stabilize prices and increase production. And we are also expecting government to make sure that there is food on the table of all Nigerians.
When you look at this situation now, transportation is cost, rent is cost, school fees again for children is not easy. So minimum wage cannot make it the way we are looking at it. But at least they should just look at it, check it for us, look at it in a positive way that at least we can afford our rent, we can bear it with our transport and fuel.
Staff or workers are agitating for salary increment. We hope and pray the government will announce it today through their representative or through their agent. All we need is the salary increment and other palliative that will cushion the hardship we have on the land.
The workers sure are having fun right there, but we're still talking about the Workers' Day and Eduvention. And we had gotten the conversation to productivity. How can we ensure productivity? And I'm sure for some of you who are asking yourselves, I think I can do better. Well, Dr. James Komolafe is still here to tell us more. As from there, we have still so many things to discuss.
You can do better and even brighter when you practice the culture of Eduvention. And every day, Eduvention is asking an average worker 7 questions.
Right.
You are talking about productivity. Eduvention says, hey, don't go too far. Answer these questions for me. Once you can answer them, then I will know whether you have what it takes for me to deliver to you so that you can deploy critical service.
Okay.
The first question is the question of what. Describing what you have. What can you do beyond the desk function, official work? If you are a civil servant, if you are a public servant or some other, you are into NGO or you are into self-employment, whatever the case, what do you have in your hand? What are the skills? What are the competencies? Where are you good? These are the days you see. Look at artisans, the unskilled laborers and all that. They don't even know the thing very well. All of them, they craze for money, 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 money. You give your car to a mechanic, God save your head. Or you call a laborer to do something for you. They do all kinds of things. So what do you know? What do you have? And how well have you developed competencies
what you have, exactly.
over what you have? That's the first question Eduvention is asking you. Then number 2 is why? The purpose clause now comes in. Why do you go for what you have? Is it because that thing chose you? Or you just look at what is happening. Everybody is selling card, and therefore let me start selling card. Or everybody is selling, they are doing intermediary and they are selling gas and all that. Oh, housing is booming in Abuja, and then you just come to join. You can join and enter what now? Enter some serious problems because you are not giving to you. You see, Joy, these are the days what we do should choose us, not us choosing it. How can I start from economics and I work for hospitals today? Because, you see, I'm passionate about people, solving problems. So that's why in my other courses, I had to veer off. People call me psychologist. I never took a course in psychology, but I do all kinds of equipping, lecturing. In fact, I do psychometry. As a forensic psychometrician, I create solutions for people.
Okay, I would like you to just quickly give us the concept of psychometry before you move ahead.
Psychometry, psyche and metric. The capacity to download the content of your mind on ink and paper using fact and figures to do analysis in order to do intervention. So you have things upstairs and you are saying, one day this thing, I will use it to solve problems. Say, hey, don't go too far. Come. I'll plunge into you by the order of behavioral invasion, exploration, expression, and establishment. And then I will articulate it on ink and paper using fact and figures to say, hey, this is how to begin it. Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses, look at your opportunities, look at your threat.
Okay.
And if you start it now, this is where you are going to excel. This is where not to excel. So it's not enough going to school to read. You must be able to apply what you read to solving common problems, day-to-day problems. So that's the idea of psychometry, which we do. And then, like I told you, Eduvention is asking every worker today 7 questions. What do you know? Do you grow in it? Do you groom yourself? And then why?
Why?
What's the purpose? Because when everything fails around, your purpose will keep you going. That's number 2. And then Eduvention is saying, who needs what you have?
What's your niche? Your
Who
target audience.
Well, that's another way. Eduvention is saying, do you know who needs what you have? Because you are not a solution to every problem. You are not Jesus Christ. Even if you believe him and love him, you don't have solutions. There is a particular niche you are born to service. So who needs what you have and can do at the same time? If you are not in the regular civil service where your work is just defined and they say be guided accordingly. In fact, that's why I left civil service, because my potentials and creativities were dying. And you just want me to work within the box. You
feel stifled.
I feel stifled on the inside when I want to take my work by storm. So that's not to say there are no people who just love orderly arrangement and all of that. But by my personality type as a choleric, no. I want to be in the forefront, breaking grounds and creating the maximum shift wherever I can do it. So the 4th question Eduvention is asking you is the question of where. Now I know who is involved. Where can I find them?
Right.
So my clients are in the hospitals. My clients are in the psychiatric home. My clients are people who are confused in churches, in offices, people who want to take decisions and they don't know what to do. My clients are people who just feel they can't coordinate or organize. You just feel stuck and all of that. People with behavioral issues, the good, the bad, and the ugly, are my clients. And I have retainership services where I work with people, I work with organizations, I work with companies and groups to ensure that things are done orderly. I create frameworks so that people can deliver their fireworks. When it is not frame on the inside, it cannot be fire on the outside. So we help people to do all of this, whether at private level or public level, at individual, family, and institutional level, so that you can get going. So we look for the why, the where, which is the locality, the who, the personality that needs what you are doing. And then Eduvention says when. Your service may not be needed every time.
Right.
If what you are supposed to do in raining season, you are now bringing it at dry season, then you are eduventionally sick and not compliant. So sickness is no longer when you have fever. Sickness, you can be eduventionally sick even when you are medically sound. You will still come down later, because you see some people in the hospitals and in some care homes, they will say, sir, if I can just have 100,000,
I'll be good again.
in fact, this fever will just disappear and all of that. I used to think they are wrong. No, they are not wrong. Because you see, Joy, your emotion is powered by the power of your thoughts, your feelings, and this too builds your imagination, that fuels your emotion, that grows your passion. So it's a nexus.
Right.
Whatever happens on your thought will go ahead to happen as things to you on the outside. So that is why it's so important. You need to find the locality. Where do I meet them? And then when? Time. Time is of the essence. You have a service you want to deliver, but you are delivering at the wrong time. People are fasting, they need to break their fast. And you are producing what they need to break their fast in the morning. When they are breaking fasting in the evening. You see, you are not eduventionally compliant.
So you have to figure out the when.
You have to figure out the when.
Right.
And then the how is critical. As you see me, I love pounded yam. I have eaten pounded yam in 2-star hotel, 3-star hotel, Yag Baby, Mama Put, Chinedu's mom, and all of that. But you know what, Joy? And I've eaten pounded yam in the very ivory towers and all of that. I would never take pounded yam inside leaves or plastic rubber at this my level. So how you serve out what you have is critical.
Right.
Because packaging is critical in service delivery. The story of a young graduate who looked for jobs so great was told, who eventually became a gate man in an engineering company because he had no job. And the way by which he opened the gate, one day the MDCO was just enthused, and his packaging did not befit the one who is a gate opener. And one day, the MDCO stopped the driver and said, stop, let me interact with this man. And he called the guy and said, oh guy, how are you? What's your name? What's your qualification? He said, I have BSc, B engineering. He said, you are a graduate, you have engineer, you are an engineer. And from there, he navigated from being a gate man to a manager as an engineer. What brought him up? Packaging. So very vital. Comportment in the 21st century workplace, Joy, is no longer about what you are wearing but what is wearing you. It matters a huge lot. And then don't let the economy be seen on your face. And your face is drawing the face of the map of Nigeria with all of the contours everywhere. No. Be yourself. That's why your personality has to be intact for your potential to come out. And as you merge the two together through critical engagement, you'll find your production. And that's the place of contribution. So how you get it done matters. And who determines the how is your customer. Is the people you want to serve. How do they want it? Give them the best shot so that there can be patronage. And then lastly is the harvest.
Harvest.
Which is what everybody wants, even when they don't have.
Very often we don't even think about all these many steps.
Don't think about
all these steps. All we think about is
just harvest. Quick fixes. You graduate today, you want to drive the best car. You want to carry a handset that is 250k as a young graduate and all of that. How about what you have? Where and your why and your who and your when? They just.
But when you draw the line between ambition, which is I want to actually hold a 2 million naira phone,
yes,
and achievement, is it a wrong thing to be ambitious?
You can have 10 million naira phone, but the issue is after what happens. What utility function is it performing for you? Is it for consumption?
The Gen Zs will say it's for bragging rights, for street credibility. Is that tangible? Is it tangible enough?
Hunger has advanced courses, and they are core courses. Hunger 805. Of what use carrying a handset that is 500k and a mowing rent of 100k? That's stupidity. It means you are senseless, because you are not eduventionally compliant. What you know is not being produced as an investment. So every knowledge you have must generate resource for you.
Every knowledge you have,
every knowledge must generate resources for you all the time. And resources is not just about money. No, it can be contribution of value. It can be aid, it can be giving help, volunteerism. And you see, in this world, people don't know the import of volunteerism. Do you know, invariably, when you do volunteering job, you are adding to your CV. Because when you are going for any job, and you say, I've done this, I did that, I did that, I did that. I volunteer here, it shows that you had offered something. But you sit down at home waiting for that plum job, and you know God is going to answer you. You will stay there for long. So what can you do? It's either that you are doing something or something is doing you.
Okay.
So on workers' day like this, before you go out, think, what value am I going to create today? Not just business as usual. Keeping a cyclical order. You are out of work. How do I improve myself? And time waits for nobody. What you don't do today, tomorrow, before you know it, you grow above that phase, you no longer can do it. So why not make use of your energy now that you're at work? See how to start divesting your energy into doing some things, into intermediation, linking who have with who have not. This is the day of social media, digital marketing, and all kinds of stuff online. You know, there are some workers who up till now don't know how to operate a computer, even graduates. So
because they have not tried to better themselves.
They just felt, I don't need it. Just like some of us taught in those days. I don't need mathematics. I don't need mathematics. Only to be doing psychometry. Which exposes me to not only mathematics, differential calculus, and all kinds of measurements in order to keep the society fit. So please be generally open. Don't be averse to knowledge. And whatever you know, how can I turn it into a workable solution? And that is where the resources come in. You provide value, people will pay you for the value you provide. So, no employment, you can create some. And what we are going to do for people, and have been doing, is to send your information to us. We'll help you profile what your competency is and your possibilities, and then we come out for you what you can do by way of production of goods and services, almost at no cost, at your own end. That is what we are contributing to society. You can tell me, Dr. James, I like to do this and do that and do that. You catch fun to make fund fun is spelled what? F-U-N.
Okay.
Fund is spelled what? F-U-N-D. And that D is a loaded content. It means discovery, development, and deployment. So when you catch fun from the inside and you add the power of D, that thing will bring money to your pocket. So what do you have out there? And the workers, they like this. Even when you are going to leave service, that's not the time to start looking at what can I do. No. No matter where you are now, start planning for retirement. Start turning the searchlight inward. Who am I? What do I have? And what can I do? My personality, my potential, and my production. So that you don't just stay on one spot waiting for promotion. You can have all the promotion, but what happens on the inside? You can get promoted on the outside and get demoted on the inside. And are you surprised that many of our civil servants and workers, just a few years after retirement, life goes on a decline? So many things are responsible. And Eduvention has a solution for that.
Okay.
I remember in 2009, I was teaching the staff of one federal ministry here in Abuja in Nasarawa State. And when I began raising issues like this, a man raised his hand and said, Coach, from what you are saying now, it's like I have not started life at all. And I just have 3 years to retire. So I gave an analogy. If you face Kano on your way to Enugu, and you drove to Zaria to discover that you're on the wrong road, you won't say, well, since Kano is closed,
let me continue.
Let me continue before I make a U-turn. So
it's never too late.
Is critical. Wherever you find yourself now, it's never too late. We'll plunge into you and your resources on the inside by the virtue of Eduvention and bring out your facilities. You are looking for facilities out there, but the main facilities are within you. We'll pull them out and show you to say, hey, look at what you carry that is supposed to carry you. Actually, in life, can you see our body physiology? What is carrying us is our bones.
Yes.
You call it leg. If there is no bone in your leg, you won't stand. So what you carry you in life is not what is outside, but what is inside you.
Right.
How are you built? Have you found out what your potentials are, your reserved energies and abilities, and then try to package it? I will have this maxim in Eduvention class. You must package to manage in order to avoid damage. I say it again. Eduvention says package to manage in order to avoid what? Damage. And how do you do that? You check up from the neck up in order to be good neck down. And when you are good neck down, you will be great leg forward. So to all our workers out there, happy Workers' Day. But you want to find continual happiness and lasting bliss, please find out who you are. It's not too late. Who am I? And then two, that will help you to discover what you have. So when you find out who you are, that is your B factor of the word behave. When you now find out what you have, that is your half factor. So when you join your B to have, you will behave. And when you behave, what do? You produce. And that is the short story of life. You say, well, I don't like entrepreneurship. I don't like solving problems. I just want to go be in an office where I just do things they told me and all of that. Is also good. Except that you will be in a small bracket. You will only be able to minimally cater for yourself, and you will discover at the end of the day you haven't lived. So please give attention to what you are hearing inside, and then make good plans, and then begin to work at it, because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step in the right direction. So it's never too late. Eduvention is out for you. Eduvention is not even asking you whether you have money or not. No. Eduvention says put meaning first, contribution first. Don't look at what comes to you. Eduvention says give out where it is required. Let people see service. Let people enjoy you. Contribute to other people's stake. And then they will appreciate your work and pay you in the like manner. So the last question is the question of harvest. You can't plant mango and expect tomato. So it talks about quantity and quality. In fact, quality first. What do you invest your time in? Your quality time and all of that. Before you expect harvest, please invest qualitatively. Study things that you are passionate about, that you know you are going to live the rest of your life with, so that after retirement, you just know that this is it. In fact, don't wait until you retire before you start working on some of those things. At least the dream stage, the conception stage, the implementing stage, and all of this little executing stage before you get to completion stage. All these things are very necessary. So send to Dr. James Komolafe today on 080 35 999 220, so that you can see to what percentage are you eduventionally compliant. We'll check your structural deviation or definition. We'll look at your trend analysis over time. We'll look at your root cause analysis. We'll also look at your point blank analysis and write 35 issues about your SWOT analysis, your strength, your weaknesses, and your opportunities and threats, so that you can begin to marshal your energies the right order and get the best result for it. Eduvention says you can be happy, you can be radiant, you have what it takes to deliver interventions and to solve societal problems. Not just saying, I'm here, what can Nigeria do for me? Nigeria hasn't done anything. No, Eduvention says be the one to rise to solve problems. Be the one with the solution there. Be the one who is able to identify with the situation on ground, having the solution at hand. And on this final note, can I define for you how to do critical intervention through Eduvention?
It will have to be quickly because we're running out of
3S gives you your eye. You are looking for intervention any day. Look at the situation on ground. And then the solution you have at hand. And then marry the two together through the strategy that is required. So situation on ground, your solution at hand, and the strategy by which you bring the two together delivers an intervention. And everyone out there has situations they must observe carefully. And then what do I have to solve it for solution? And then how do I go about it? At the end of the day, you deliver intervention.
Right.
And then you get paid. Value comes out. So answer these questions and let's see where you are, eduventionally speaking.
Eduventionally speaking, and that is where we'll have to draw the curtains on today's Eduvention conversation.
So give them my number again.
Okay, so the number is 080-35-999-220. I will say it slower this time. I hope you're able to take the number 080-35-999-220. That's the number to call to contact Dr. James Komolafe, who, like I said earlier, is the Chief Consultant, Saba Resources. Again, I thank you for being part of today's edition.
Thank you so very much. And my YouTube channel is out there, James Komolafe. Watch my videos, local, national, and international, and become eduventionally compliant.
Exactly. So my name is Joy Asonye, wishing you a wonderful Workers' Day celebration. We'll be back tomorrow with so much more, so do have a wonderful evening.